Bonjour! Hey, how you doing, you guys? A lot of people don't know that I studied in Paris, France for a year, and today I thought I would make a video talking about my likes and dislikes about Paris, France. Let's get into it. The first thing that I liked about Paris, France was definitely the architecture. When you first get into the city, you're going to be mesmerized. If it's a sunny, beautiful day, you're going to be mesmerized at the architecture. It's very detailed and it's very grandiose. It's definitely not something that you find in the US. There's just something very majestic about it. And there's a mixture of old and new. And also, when I say old, I mean like medieval things. I think they may have had some things that dated all the way back to like the pagan days of the Gauls and the Franks, who were the people in France before the Romans took over. The architecture that you see like by the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that, that architecture, it looks really old, but it's really not that old. It's really only about 200 years old, somewhere around there. I think it was built in like the 1800s or something, somewhere around there. Second thing I liked about Paris was the diversity in Paris. Paris is a very diverse city. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as diverse as like, New York City or Los Angeles, but it's definitely diverse. You got, obviously you got Parisians, and then you got people from Eastern Europe who moved in, Chinese immigrants. You got people from their former colonies who were in West Africa and also Algeria, Morocco, and also immigrants from the Middle East. Parisians are kind of Islamophobic, but we'll get into that later. I think the younger crowd welcomes diversity. The older crowd is still kind of xenophobic. But, yeah. Third thing I liked about Paris was that they had really good healthcare. The healthcare there is really good. I always felt like I was well taken care of. I had student insurance. It was required for me to get my visa, but it wasn't really that expensive, and it completely covered me. Everything was taken care of. Dental, eye exams. If I died, they would pay for the burial costs. I could basically go to the doctor anytime I wanted to. The healthcare was great there. It was as good as the healthcare in the United States. Another thing I liked about Paris was the public transportation there. The public transportation in Paris is really, it's good. It's good. They have a subway system and they have buses and everything runs on time, and I liked it. So, if you go to Paris, you better be prepared to be good looking. Because in Paris, everybody takes the way they look very seriously, and they take the way you look very seriously. And everybody pretty much looks after themselves in Paris. It's really different from the southern United States where I'm from. I think that's a good thing. But there's some bad things that come along with that as well. But overall, Parisians are very attractive people in general. They watch their weight. They have pretty good diets. They try to get some exercise in. They try to walk a lot. And they dress nicely. They keep well groomed in general. Obviously this is like a generalization, but overall, Parisians are very attractive, very good looking people. And if you move to Paris, you better be prepared to look after yourself, because, well, I was gonna save this for the dislikes, but if you're overweight in Paris, they might be nice to you in your face, but they will talk about you like a dog when you're not around. Paris is extremely obesophobic, if that's even the word. Oh, not even just obesophobic, but overweightophobic. If you're overweight in Paris, people are going to talk about you. Unless you're like an old lady. But old ladies are kind of expected to be overweight, especially after you have like 5 kids. But if you're like a young person and you're overweight, they're going to talk about you. And if you're obese or morbidly obese, I mean, you're not even considered a human being in Paris. That was my experience. I know lots of people who talked. I experienced it on many occasions where people would talk shit about people who were overweight. So if you're overweight, be prepared for that. I also like that people in Paris they're different to Americans in that they like PDA, and I I kind of like that because I'm kind of a romantic at heart. I don't mind people kissing in public. That's not a big deal to me. Also, Paris has lots and lots of museums. And I like museums. I'm not one of those people that can go to a museum for like 8 hours. But I can go to a museum for like 2 or 3 hours and be alright. The Louvre, they obviously have the Louvre. They have Le Pompidou, or whatever. Le Pompidou I wasn't too crazy about. It's a modern art museum. And it was, actually I thought it was a scam. Sorry, I think some modern art is a scam. Okay, because it'll be like, okay look, it'll be like this water bottle and like this chapstick. And it'll be like, this will be in the Pompidou, and it'll be like worth like $2 million. And like, what the fuck is this fucking shit? I'm telling you, if you go to the Pompidou, which is like a modern art museum, you're gonna see shit like this. $2 million. Or this. And then you'll see people there trying to interpret it. They'll be like, yes, the artist, he's trying to say that he's rebelling against modern society and phones and water stands for purification to purify the younger generation of their telephones. It's like they'll get all into it and shit. I'm like, this is a scam. Okay, so we've talked about some of the things that I did like about Paris. Now let's talk about some of the things that I didn't like about Paris. Okay, one of the biggest thing that I didn't like about Paris was the weather. Sorry, but the weather is not good there. They have about 3 to 4 months of good weather, and that's in like, let me see, March, April. It starts to warm up around April or May from what I remember, and then it'll be like that until August, and then September and October it starts to get chilly, and then it's pretty much cold and rainy and gray most days in the winter. So the winters there are hard, and it won't snow. So it's not like a nice, pretty, you know, snow. It's like, no, it's like rainy and wet and cold and gray. And remember I said I like the buildings? Yes, I like the buildings. The architecture is beautiful. But if the sun isn't out, all that white mixed with the gray, it just looks like one big gray, lifeless place in the winter. So be careful of that. Most people, when they go visit Paris, they go in the spring, so they see all the green trees, and the sun is out, and everything's beautiful, and it looks like heaven. But in the winter, it does not look like that. In the winter, it looks gray and cloudy and rusty. And the Eiffel Tower, I live 2 blocks from the Eiffel Tower, beautiful when the sun is beaming on it. But when it's rainy and cloudy and gray, it just looks like a big rusty eyesore. And you know, originally Parisians didn't want them to keep the Eiffel Tower up. Now it's a national treasure or whatever. But originally Parisians thought it was an eyesore as well. And now I see what they were talking about. Because when it's gray and rainy and cloudy, it looks like a big rusty tower. Another thing I didn't like about Paris was, I hate to say it, Parisians. Sorry, I didn't really care for Parisian people that much. I just didn't find myself to be very compatible. I didn't think they were warm or friendly or inviting or anything. And it's not, well actually there's some truth to what I'm saying, because I'm not just saying this out of unfounded prejudice. But no, people pretty much said that. Like Parisians even told me that in Paris people pretty much keep to themselves. They're probably not gonna have conversations with you and stuff. But once they get to know you, then supposedly you're a friend for life or whatever. And see, I don't like that because I ain't got time for all of that. I like it where it's like we meet, we click, let's converse. You know, I like warm, friendly, inviting, which was the case when I lived in Mexico City, Mexico for 4 years. That's why I ended up living there for 4 years, because people there are so warm and friendly. And Paris is not warm and friendly. The people aren't mean, but they're just not warm and friendly, which is what I like. Also, I thought Parisian nightlife was very dull as well. Yeah, Parisian nightlife is dull. Let's just be honest about it. It's dull. This is no secret. People talk about this all the time. You can Google it. Parisian nightlife is kind of dull, and you would expect a big city like Paris to have better nightlife, but everything starts closing around like 2 p.m. And it's just not, just something about the way they party. It's just like, it's so uptight. It's like, this just doesn't feel like a party to me. I don't know. It just felt like uptight and kind of boring. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. I thought Parisian nightlife was boring. The only reason why I had fun was because I would go out with my friends who were from Spain, and Spanish people, they know how to party. Parisians, Also, I found a lot of Parisians to be very money-oriented and very classist. Which, you know, that's every country. Every country has that. New Yorkers are very classist, too. Parisians aren't classist in the way that New Yorkers are. I find that New Yorkers tend to be, there's a lot of newer money New Yorkers, not the old money families in New York, but the newer money families who always end up talking about how much money they make, no matter how much you don't even care. They're gonna bring it up. But no, Parisians don't do that. Parisians are just more like, I can tell that you don't belong in my class, so I'm just not really gonna talk with you or associate with you. That's how Parisians are, from what I found. I did go to school with a lot of wealthy kids, and yeah, some of those wealthy kids were snobs. But some of them, a lot of them were nice. But they weren't Parisians, they were from other parts of Europe, so that doesn't really count. Fucking train. Okay, I was also shocked at how much Parisians, I thought, when I think of Paris, I think of like Voltaire and stuff, like intelligent debates and stuff. And Parisians will get in debates with you, but the thing that they do that drives me nuts, and this happened to me like 6 or 7 times, if they don't agree with you, they will say their points and it'll go back and forth for a little bit, but they won't finish the deal. When they know they're wrong, they will walk away. Literally walk away in the middle of a conversation. It's like, well, you realize you just lost, right? Because if you really believed what you were saying, you would stand here and you would defend it. You wouldn't walk away. And that happened to me a few times in Paris. And as far as the whole Parisians hate American thing, I never really experienced that. Parisians don't like American politics, but as far as like treating people badly just because they're American, I never experienced that. That never happened to me. People never treated me badly. Actually, nobody treated me badly. Well, I got treated badly by a taxi driver once. But, anyway. But, okay, guys, well, that's all the main points. I don't know what else to talk about. I'll probably think of something else when I turn the camera off. I hope you enjoyed this. If you go to Paris, make sure you research the monuments and shit. Check all that shit out. It's definitely a city worth to visit. As far as like living there, that's a different situation. I lived there for a year, like I said, and is there a place that I would want to live for the rest of my life? Hell to the no. I gotta have warm weather and warm people. So no, Paris was not compatible for me, but everybody should check it out because there are a lot of beautiful and good things in Paris. Okay, so if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. À bientôt, mon chéri.